So we're a little late. Let's just get this out in the open. Happy anniversary, 2.5 months later. Happy anniversary to Cookie Cutter. Happy the anniversary to the release of one of my favorite games of the last 10 years. And happy anniversary to you, my one and only Stefano. Welcome back to the show. How the hell are you, my
Thank you so much, my man. So happy to be here with you again. Last time we talked, it was like 1 year and a half ago, something like that.
Yeah, we were pretty much right around launch time.
Uh,
So the game was somewhat fresh to me. We had talked a little bit about my experience playing the game pre-launch. So obviously, some of the challenges that we faced, but we have become definitely friends over the year, and we've talked a lot more offline, and I'm grateful for that. And I know you've been hard at work doing everything that you do to not only improve the game that people started with, but you have been working on expanding. We talked a little bit about that on that show as well. But it's been some time, and coincidentally, you just recently shared some news with the world, so we can definitely discuss that a little bit.
And from the ashes, a new era will rise up and fall again after suffer, run, fight.
I never wanted to make you choose. Where we are now is up to you. Spinning in circles, who will lose? Where we are now is up to you. It's up to you. It's up to you. It's up to you. It's up to you. I never wanted to make you choose. Where we all know is up to you. Spinning in circles, who will lose? Where we all know is up to you. It's up to you. It's up to you. It's up to you.
Was incredible.
Super exciting. We've talked about the game being ported to the Switch. I know that was a massive undertaking that you have been working really, really hard on. So, congrats on that announcement. So, yeah, we are pretty much getting a Switch release. We are getting it 60 frames, and we are getting a version known as the Overkill Edition. So,
yeah.
fucking fantastic. Let's just celebrate that, okay?
Yeah, it's true. Time to celebrate. And
Yeah, so
you know, a lot of the time people don't understand. You told me that you recognize all of the hard work behind, but a lot of the time people got no idea. And like a time lapse, like 9 months from release to release from Switch and do all of the fixes, it looks like a lot of time. But when you're doing the shit, when you're doing the work, when you're doing the fixes, it's nothing. It's just grinding endlessly to fix stupid small things, hundred of stupid small things, and it takes a lot of time, and it's crazy. Video games are crazy, man. Every stupid little thing it requires a lot of time to fix and test it, and it's But I'm happy, super happy.
well, look, I think your work speaks for itself in so many ways, but the realistic aspect is you've always taken ownership since the very beginning on anything that would have been considered a shortcoming, a bug, um, a request from a fan. You are super active on social media. I know you have this very varied view with people, like, they either love you or hate you. And I think that comes with the territory. You do have a game that shines a certain, kind of point of view where if it's just not what they're into, they're not going to like it. And they paint the picture, but you are game for the trolls, but you are the love and support that the fans need, which is really awesome. I've seen you recently talk about just kind of embracing people doing mods with the game. And I think, knowing how the game is designed with, realistic artwork, and obviously the intricacies that go into not only frame by frame, the always interesting demand was always, what about Cherry having other skins? And, understanding what that takes and it's not just a palette swap. It is redrawing, reanimation, and again, it's you and a small team that do all this. So I think that somebody wanting to challenge themselves to do the game a little different is awesome, and that you embrace that. Do you think somebody will jump on that challenge of trying to redraw Cherry in a palette swap? Obviously, I think the most that what people want to see is obviously her origin design, obviously before the incident.
Yeah, I don't think that nobody will do that. I will be really surprised and really happy, but I don't think nobody will do that effort because it's crazy to draw all that amount of stuff. Cherry only got 4,670 something frames, and in each frames you need to draw hair, and it's not just hair like the shape and the color, but there are the shades, the highlights, the tattoos, and the details. And if you're doing hair, you need to, animate hairs and stuff like that. I will not do it because I don't want to do it. It's a crazy amount of work.
Right.
And it's already crazy what we got vanilla in the game. If I could come back right now, I will just do everything without shades. I will just do everything just with flat colors and with groovy animation. Because it's already cool like this. If you have a groovy animation, it works, and you will save 1/3 of the time by doing all of the details, all of the shades, all of the highlights and shit. But I think that back at time was something that I misjudged because I was new, and when you're new and you don't know what you're doing, sometimes you tend to overdo. And that was my way of. There was one part of me that wanted not to flex, but to prove that I was a good animator, that I was able to be a good author, a good illustrator, a good artist. And the other part of me that was unsure about, okay, maybe I need to do more to prove that this is worthy and stuff like that. Nowadays, I'm a little bit less concerned about that. I don't give a shit. I never give a shit about a lot of people. And trust me, I love people who love the game. But I don't want to be that guy that does things for other, because I think that people have no idea what they want. And I think that if you are an artist, you should do what you love in order to people to love it too. If you try to do something that people likes and it's not yours, I think it will not work. It's not authentic. And as you said at the beginning, Cookie Cutter is a pretty divisive game. You love it, or you waited. There is no middle ground. The middle ground right now, it's a noisy internet debate about people who call other people woke and people who call other people, I don't know, weird Nazi gamers. I don't know, it's weird out there, So the best things I can do is just do what I love and what it's better for what I think it can be the game, and I don't give a shit about the rest.
That's well said. It makes a lot of sense. And, this is a passion project. This is something you've spent years working on. And, the fact that it came out, you're still working on it. That speaks volumes to any game developer out there that really pours their heart into a game. You're not just putting it out to be just another, hey, I did this. This is something that means a lot to you. And I think you wear your emotions on your sleeves in the translation of the game, the story, the characters. And a big part of that, comes down to, we live in the world where social media is the make or break it of so many conversations. Yeah. And it really comes down to that somebody gets a point of view of one aspect, whether it be they just don't like Cherry's design, they don't like a part of the plot point. Most of them probably haven't played the game. Yeah. It may simply just not be a genre that they're into. Because I have a lot of friends that I've kind of pushed to play the game. Some will start it. Some will say, it's a little difficult. It's not, everybody can't just pick it up. There is a skill that comes to balancing the weapons that come into the game. Some people just don't like Metroidvania inspired games. So, with that comes the, hey, it's not for me. I think back to the 80s and the 90s when you didn't like it, you moved on. People love to grind and hassle. It's like Marvel, that's another tangent that anytime I talk about it, I have such a love-hate relationship with it. But it's a perfect example of something that could be massive, and if
Yeah,
you just don't like one thing about it, you end up hating everything about it.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's a tough thing, but I think that you have toughed out so much of the bullshit that I see, because obviously following you all the time and the fact that we talk regularly, I see it. You and I we have fun. We're trolling each other sometimes. I mean, thanks to a fellow editor at Gaming Age, we got a great article to help support the release, and I poked fun at there a little bit. We called it a not exclusive
yeah.
because he's like, "How is Benny friends with the director, and we can't get the scoop?"
We're not
you
friends.
know,
We're brothers, man. We're brothers.
no, it's great, man. And again, this is the hard part that people don't see is it's a business in the end of the day. Like
Yes.
in order to maintain it, you have
Yeah.
to do things a certain way. And that's the respect that I will always give you, where a lot of people won't. Because again, you're putting out a product that people have the option to purchase. Number
Yeah.
one, you
Yeah.
also have that aftercare that a lot of developers kind of missed the mark on, when it comes to post release. Hey, you put the game out, some people just like move on to the next project,
Yeah.
and the fact is, that you have fans that want the game to be better for their experience. We talked on the show a year ago about you wanting to really include more languages, which is
Yeah.
really, really important in the world of a game like this. Is anybody in the world can like it, but it
Yeah.
got, if we have that limitation, I understand that. But that's also another massive undertaking, because now you have to bring in a porting team, a translation team. People don't think about that. They just think that it's a button press.
Yeah.
Here
Yeah.
you go. Here's more work for you. But then
Yeah.
there's the AI side. Everybody thinks AI is going to solve everything.
Yeah. Yeah. It can facilitate a lot of things, but I hope that things still requires human hands on it. You can work with the AI and you can translate the dialogue in a new languages, but in the end, you need to see if each one of those line works and as the same, flavor, as the same way, because a machine just translate. But
Right.
what I try to express maybe not doesn't work in the way the machine intended. And as you said before, you said a lot of right things. I totally agree with you. This is entertainment. This is business, and it's just a flavor. It's a weird flavor in an ocean of different flavors of entertainment. You don't like this, skip to other one. It's not a problem. But you can even complain. You can come to social media and tell me that I'm an asshole and that my game is woke and the main character is ugly and all of those things and the ending of the game it's weird and all of those things. And I will be there answering you. And because I'm a human being, I'm not perfect. Some days I will be really pissed off and I will be horrible on social media because I'm working in here and I need to listen to you, fucking you, coming to me super rude. It's cool if we can discuss things, but I know that generally on social media people don't come to discuss. Sometimes they come to vent, sometimes they come to praise, and it's normal. We're human beings, and this is how it works. But expect even from this side, human being. So some days I will bite back the fuck out of you, because I'm working in here, and today is a really bad day, man. And I'm always there answering. I'm always there for everyone, and sometimes it's stressful. But in the end, I should say that we got a lot of love, and I'm happy about it. I'm an asshole. I count nothing out there, but this time I took my heart and I put it out there, and this resonates with people, and I feel amazing for this. There's haters, it's normal, it's part of the game of doing this business, and it's fine. I feel really humbled about the ability and the work that we put on the game, me and the team, and the love that we received back. It's long way more, and it's super good every time. So I feel blessed, man. Was crazy to reach the end. That is not the end, by the way.
Well, we're gonna definitely dive into that, and I'm sure I'm gonna poke the bear and ask questions I shouldn't be asking. But no, it's well said. You really you are a rare talent in the sense of just like again the overall engagement. I mean, that's what really attracted me to everything that you do because of your replying to almost every comment. You know what I mean? Good, bad, and indifferent.
Mhm.
But at the same time, you remind me a lot of me, and as a fellow creator, and the journey that you spent while doing your work that we all require to do in many cases.
Yeah.
It's a labor of love, and it comes with a lot of exhaustion, a lot of emotional distraught, and it affects not only you mentally, it affects the world, it affects the people around you. It can sometimes affect your other career ambitions. And I really commend you for, I remember how tired you were when we met, and how exhausted and how semi relieved you were because, you were like, it's out there. Now it's like a different stress. The stress was to create it. Now the stress is to deal with the aftermath, and, are people going to like it or not? How is the publisher going to react to the feedback and things like that? And really, the world doesn't talk about it enough. We have these discussions over the years about how toxic the game industry is with jobs and people. You can have success and still lose your job. And I've been saying it for over 2 years now, and it's to me, it's indie is the future. And the
Mhm.
reason that indie is the future is because indie is where the passion comes from, and the
Mhm.
passion creates the best work.
Yeah.
The challenge is obviously always going to fall on the financial burdens that come
Mhm.
along with the stuff is not cheap, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And most of us, when we're starting, we're doing it out of our own pocket. We're pulling our wallet out and we're saying, what can we afford to get done that we can't do ourselves? You are a man of many talents. You are the artist, you do the animation, you do the illustration, but there's more that comes into making the game.
Yeah.
So knowing that you had to work to build a team, you know, when you never did that before, you had a lot of support from your job, which was also commendable. Not everybody's lucky in that regard.
No,
You
man.
know, I have a leader on my side of my day to day that is one of my biggest supporters, which is a really rare occurrence. Because I make sure that my work doesn't get affected, but they know where my heart and my passions lie when it comes to creative. So it's a really driving force. And I think you and all you did over the years really shows. It shows in the work, and the fact that, to go back to your new announcement about the Switch release, you went out and you posted the trailer, but you went out and posted all of the updates. So
Yeah.
let's take a brief second to really talk about that, because at the end of the day, um, people think, when it comes to these releases, that there is, oh, it's going to be a new character skin, or it's going to be a DLC. This
Mhm.
is a massive, massive overhaul of the game without changing the game. So I'm cheap, cop out here by using our Gaming Age article written by my team. But let's just go over some of this stuff real quick. We talked about bug fixes, which are a really important component that you've been doing since launch day one.
Yep.
We
Do
got.
you want to know? Do you want to know something really fun about bug fixing?
Mhm.
There was a bug that was canceling your map. You progress and you unveil the fog of war, and so you unveil the map. But at some point, for no reason, you come back to some areas and the areas is obscured again, and you don't understand anymore what you explored and what not. Horrible bug for a Metroidvania. For that little bastard, we spent 5 months because we were unable to reproduce it, totally unable. The publisher QA team that was in charge of testing it and find bugs was unable for 4 months to reproduce it. And it was an horrible bugs. And imagine the anxiety to know that it's out there with people complaining, leaving you bad review, and you try to understand what is happening. So this
Right.
was one of the fix. We fixed it.
Well, that's a huge thing that, For me, I didn't obviously face that, but you know that there was bugs that I sent you that I don't think other people faced too.
Yep, yep.
Which, again, playing everybody plays the game different, so that's going to trigger different things, and a big part of reproduction. Because even with my day job, I deal with reproduction.
Yeah.
If you can't reproduce it, it could be environmental, but in many cases, something is being triggered in the game. You know, some people are weird. Some people like to just jump in a corner and try to glitch the game out and try to, and try to blip through it and stuff. I didn't need help. I had that happening early on. So, but again, that's just a perfect example. And thank you for sharing that, because again, people they don't know what goes into it. And again, not everybody's going to care to. That's fine. But
True.
really, I'm here to help along with you to educate people on this is why I do this show. I do this show to connect with great people like you that, don't get the spotlight because you're fighting with people on a daily basis that just want to be angry for the sake of being angry. I am one of those guys on social media that doesn't get into the shit. It's a dangerous game because I feel like I'd turn into you and I would hulk out on people, and I'm afraid of that outcome because I want to I handle myself differently, but I really resonate with a lot of what you go through and what you see.
Yeah.
And you handle yourself really well with that. And
Not
sometimes
all.
some things may be called for. Some things I'm like, Stefano, come on, bro. I got you. Come on. But I get it.
There is the ex-producer of Subcult that once in a while comes to me and say, I will cancel that things that you just wrote. And I was like, yeah, but it was too much.
No, I get that, But again, let's just look at this. I mean, I've had it on the screen for a bit, so everybody could have definitely skimmed through. I don't want to read it all and bore you because it's important things to note. Again, all of this stuff is a big improvement to an already awesome game that has had consistent updates. For those that didn't see, the good news too is if you're not a Switch player, people that have purchased the game already will eventually get these updates. Is that correct?
Yes. Let me explain you briefly what is happening and what was in this version of the game without reading the things. They can read it if they want from the site. The main thing is that we implemented all of the things we had in the initial vision, and we did almost all of the things we had in the initial vision, and we didn't implement it in game. So right now the game is fully voice acted. We found talents all around the world to make the voice acting in the entire game, because for us, Cookie Cutter, it's an urban tale, and so we need there are urban actors that talk in a particular way to express the tale. It's not an heroic tale. People talk like you talk with your friend, and we needed people with a certain character to do those. And so right now the game is entirely dubbed with the voice actors. I implemented a cutscene before every boss fight and 2 lore cutscenes that happens in the middle of the game that I had to remove from the original. One that gives you a little lot more context about things that was happening and we were able to explain before. We added 2 new languages, Ukrainian and Turkish. And so now we got 12 language in the game. And so there is a lot of fixes. I put a lot of stupid Easter eggs, not a lot, but more stupid Easter eggs around the game. Some of those are really interesting and weird and gross in the way that I like. Bug fixing, we fixed everything. And so what's more? I don't know. A lot of things, man. A lot of things, and everything that we had in mind before release, and things that we didn't have the chance to put it at release. And as you said, it will come out first on Switch as Overkill Edition, and later we will give it for free on all of the consoles for people who already got the game as Overkill Edition. So I will advise people who didn't play the game to wait for this, because it will be a more complete experience. And again, trust me, to listen to the actor talks, it's cool. It looks like a little indie cartoon, and it gives you a long way more context about what is happening. It's really, really cool.
Awesome. Super excited. I'm sure there has not been a formal release date yet, but would you say where we can hope to see the Switch version sooner than later? Definitely
Yeah,
this
yeah.
year, right?
We're no, definitely. It's super. I think the next month. Right now, the publisher is doing the deal, is closing the deal with Nintendo to establish the date for launch. But everything is ready. It's just a business thing to decide the date,
Of
and I
course.
don't think it will be later than next month. It can change, but I
Of
think it
course.
will be next month. And as soon as it's out there, I will be spawn it everywhere on social media as always. I will be loud and noisy and annoying as always.
I have to ask the question, and I'm pretty sure I asked it last year. Have we revisited the thought of doing physical? Is it something that is on the table for
Yes,
consideration?
yes, and I can say that it's almost certain at 85%. Again, we are dealing, the publisher are dealing.
Of
If
course, of
it's not
course.
happening, it's because it's weird that it would not happen. It can be, but let's say that 85% it's doable. And I still don't know which physical edition, but I'm pretty sure there will be a Switch one, and I hope for a PlayStation 5 one. For what I want, what I would love to have, but it's not sure, is that I would like to have a chunky edition full of art inside. I don't know if it's possible. This is what I would love because I can give you a lot of cool arts and I don't know shit inside. I would love to have I don't know stickers and I don't know cool things that you will definitely want to hang in your place, something like that.
I would love a cherry statue. Just throwing it out there. I would happily pay for that. Just so
I
you
would
know.
I will pay for that too. I think that the day they will do the vinyl statue of Cherry, I can die peacefully because I did everything in life. I will have my statue of Cherry, and I don't know. I will go in India and become a monk because I don't need anything anywhere in the world. That's everything that I need.
Awesome. Well, I look forward and hoping that Rogue is able to make that happen. You know, they've been a great publisher from what I've seen, and they've been very supportive. And you know, I was able to interact with them earlier in the year. If you remember, we had my friend Juan, my artist, had submitted a fan art, and I fucking knocked it out of the park. I know I'm very biased, but
Yeah.
again, it's a mix of both sides. You know, it's something that I love, and then there was art that I was able to help contribute creatively too. And I realized this whole time that my fucking shirt is cut off. So, you know, I'm definitely being appropriate because, you know, I can't not wear the shirt today. But really grateful that Juan was able to be acknowledged for the great work he did on that. And, you know, it was just awesome to be part of that. But
Juan,
really, Gad, I'm sorry.
Juan for president.
Oh hell yeah, dude! Listen, Juan and I are gonna take over the world. We're right behind you, bro. Don't worry, we're coming. But yeah,
By the way, that picture we vote for choosing the favorite fan art to win the contest, and that one was Matt Casamassina, Rogue Supreme Boss favorite one. Um,
awesome.
it was favorite one for a lot of us, but I remember Matt Casamassina was crazy about that.
Oh man, that means a lot because again, you know, I take pride in, you know, I'm not an artist per se. I'm a creator in different ways. I do a lot of creative directing and stuff like that. And Juan and I really work well together when it comes to that stuff. And really, he gets my vision just like, you know, I know, you know, when somebody gets it, it just means so much. And if you remember, I made this little thing. I'll show it on here real quick. This little animation of it, which
Oh
was
yeah,
freaking just so badass. But you know, at the same time, it's a different side of Cherry. You know, when you think about it, I know your vision of Cherry's a little more with the chunkier style, which is awesome too. But I definitely think this is a cool segue into the world of fan art because I feel like the fan art exploded after the game released. You got so many variety, not just from the contest, but like you continue to get fan art. You get the fan art that you don't like, which you know, people, you know, I think anytime you create a medium that people like, it's that I think it's rule 34 or something
yep,
like that, or
yep.
there's going to be pornographic versions of
Yeah.
said art.
Yeah.
But again, let's just talk about
normal. It's normal that it's happened. It's not that I don't like, but there are two things. First, it's a little bit cringy because that's my daughter, you know. I don't want to see her doing that shit. And second, I don't know. No, maybe it's three things. The second one, it's about what you said before. I think that when you do something and you put it out there and it becomes of the people, and each one of them has a vision of what you did. And some of the vision, even if they like it, is totally different from yours and you created it. It's normal. It's like this even in music, you know? You listen to a band, they change, you don't like them anymore because they're not anymore what they were for you. Because you got an idea about their art. And a lot of the people perceive me for what I did in a way that, I don't know, a lot of them then thinks that I'm super fucked up, and I am, thank you. But they think I'm super fucked up in a way that I drew this because it's my kink, you know? You will see this chubby girl with underwear because, I don't know, I get a boner out of it and that was my kink. It's not like that. I'm really never being in cartoon porn and that kind of stuff. So I don't like those things just because personally they make me cringe a little bit. But I don't judge anyone. Anyone is free to have their kink. I love people and I love people having kinks. It's just not my things. And if you do a porn picture of Cherry, I will see it, but I will not share it back because it's cringe. So yeah.
Well, I think your first point kind of supersedes everything. You know, if it's your child, and you know that's really, you know, it says it in itself. But I get that. You know, it's one of those things like you wanna embrace for better or worse. What can come. You know, I can hope and dream that somebody does fan art of stuff that I put out too. But if it comes to that, so be it. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, it's cool that you've had that. Have you had any, I guess, fan fiction of people talked about like maybe extending Cherry's story on social media, like doing things like, oh, would love if she went this route, if what would have happened if, you know, she was able to save a certain character, you know, for those that haven't played it, I'm going to be respectful, you know. Have you seen any type of engagement from fans that want to help explore the lore of the character or the world?
Yeah, there are this girl called Natalie Bug, and she is doing tons of material about fan fiction, and I'm so happy about it. She actually created some character that are so cool that right now I'm working with her to implement it in game. And this is something that I love because I was always on the other side. I was always a fan of something, trying to reach people that I like to collaborate with them, and I always had fucking walls, and I always had people ego. I love that somebody will spend hours of their life doing a tribute to something that I did. That is fucking amazing. And when this has happened, I'm not supportive. I'm like, you're bro in this. So the things that this girl is drawing, she did two characters, Dunking and Dr. Epidenzel. Dr. Epidenzel is a crazy story. This guy is like a psychopath, and his souls get embedded in this Denzel, and he becomes the psychopath Denzel. And because it's a doctor, he fights with a huge syringe. And the story she created around it with the character of the game, it's so fucked up and so cool that I really want to use it. And so there is.
I remember seeing you post. You posted pictures of that character, right? I remember seeing.
Draw the character after she did it. I draw my version of them, and I will do it for every people who's doing fan art for this, because there is no. It's like collaborate with them, you know. It's super cool, and it's something that I love. And again, I was always on the other side, so I can understand what it means when you try to give a piece of art to somebody you respect, and the guy is a wall of ego. It's horrible. And apart from this, the things that she does, I really like. The same is this guy, Jur the Orc. This guy is a fucking maniac. He knows everything about the game. I think that he knows more than me and
than you. Which is crazy.
He told me something that maybe not even me and the writer knew about the character. So when you find this kind of people who loves your shit, you feel incredible. Yeah. It's like, this thing touched something. I'm not an hit indie game. So I didn't touch a lot of people, and I don't care. Each one of the people doing this, it's amazing, man. It's pure joy and pure gold. And I will contribute. Even the guy who were working doing a mod for the game, I love the things, and I will publish it, and I will push it out there from the channel of the game because it's something they did for the game. So yeah, this is the cool things, even to be indie, but even to be, you know, a chill kind of person. I will do the same if I will work at, I don't know, Konami. I will try to do the same with people.
Right. Well, you always remember that, you know, when it comes to just the machine, as we tend to call the bigger corporations, you know, there is always going to be much more red tape than you'd like, you know, and that's the number one reason why I feel indie is where it needs to be, at least for now. And again, indie is always going to resonate with the world when it comes to games. For somebody like me, I spent most of my life console gaming and never really just couldn't afford a PC to merit, you know, going in. I have recently, almost half a year, I've had a PC where I can actually play games on it that's not just, you know, freeware. And it's opened my perspective much more on the expansion of how many indie games are on PC only, you know, perfect example. And really, you just see so much talent that doesn't make it to the console world. And, you know, I'm a big horror guy, so I've delved a lot into the world of indie horror. And again, I've met some great developers like you that just are so passionate about what they're doing. And again, it's a different side of things when you look at the machine and you look at these big companies, because most of the headlines are games doing great, teams let go. Marvel rivals.
Yeah.
You know, there's obviously a story there. There's more going on. There is other development teams around the world. So, you know, you can paint the picture all you want, but the picture that it's painting for the world is that even if your game's good, your job is not safe. And that's a scary notion. You know what I mean? You worry for the safety of others that are contributing to something that they love.
The industry changed a lot. Nowadays, there are so many products coming out in a high volume that the prices getting low. The development of a product right now requires you don't have all of the budget that you had in the past to develop a product. And when you do it, in the end, it's tough. It's tough, you know. Big studios getting fired and crumbled down. It's even tough for the indies. There are so many that you need a really small budget to develop yours, and just so few of them becomes hits, and they will be able to standing on their own legs, you know, continue doing business by, I don't know, I sell my indie games and I got enough money to continue working at my studio. A lot of us don't have that. I finished the games, I sell it out there, and I sell mildly, and now I can keep the studio anymore. So this kind of entertainment, video games, it's weird. It's changed. It's really changed from the past, from indies to even big studio, as you said, Marvel rivals. Even them, you know, going down.
Well, it's tough because when you think about the companies that are behind them, a lot of times it's the common variables. It's the Ubisoft, it's the Electronic Arts. You know, it's tough to put faith in a studio. You want to put faith in the people that make it. I mean that's how I see it. But again, you can't do that if they don't have the choice to do so.
Yep.
You know, you have Monolith. Monolith is another massive studio that most people did not talk about before until they were affected.
Yeah.
You know, now you think about games that they made and people are like, oh my God, they made the Nemesis engine. And, you know, you have all this other stuff that's coming into play. Oh, I remember playing Fear and Condemned. And, you know, yeah, it affects you. And there's so much of that happens that people don't know about. And it's a shame, you know, but again, indie, you know, there's bigger chances for a lot of those people to kind of pull together and, you know, look, crowdfunding is not something that everybody loves to do, but a lot of indie developers are finding success with that too. You know, so that's another option you can go because not everybody can get the ear and the attention of a publisher that's willing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As somebody that's at the bottom of the totem pole, like you don't have that pool to just say, hey, check out what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Social media, you can do that, but there's just a lot of ways of approaching it. But I think what's great is that the indies that are hungry find a way.
Yeah.
You found a way, and you were fortunate to have somebody that really believed in your product and gave you that chance. So, continue to do what you're doing, and we hope that the Overkill version gets the love that it needs and it deserves, so we can get part 2, right? So we can get part 2, because I know that there's stories you haven't told.
Yep.
And I know that there's more stories that you want to tell, including the collaborative stories. There's maybe got to be room for a voice actor to get in there with some character that might be a good fit for him down the line. Just throwing that out there.
Definitely, man. I was so sorry last time when we published the things about looking for voice actors. Something really peculiar happened. We wrote in social media that we were looking for voice actor, and after 24 hours, we went out to party. Yay! Drink this, smoke this, yeah! And the day after, at work, the sound engineer, Nicola, called me and told me, we got 365 emails from people and we panicked because it was just me and Nicola. And this suddenly, while we were doing the porting, becomes a work of 1 month. So we stopped immediately. We tell people, please stop. Don't send anything anymore, because we don't have the skills to handle all this amount of work.
Right.
And we understood for the first time, and we didn't expect that people get upset, because some of them it was a job opportunity, and some of them maybe they were working the day after, the day before, and they weren't able to do it, and they really wanted, and the day after suddenly there is no chance anymore. So it was really fucked up. It was weird. We learned something. But we didn't expect that volume. Put that things in social media. Maybe a couple of them will answer. 365 was,
it speaks. It speaks to your game. It speaks to the quality of the game. Look, some people do just jump at an opportunity for a job, for sure. I will tell you, as somebody that obviously is casually looking for opportunities. I have my day job, so I can't do it, all the time. Twitter, X, whatever the hell we want to call it nowadays, is a great place for people that are looking for casting opportunities. So I think you nailed it as far as putting that opportunity out there, cutting it short. You made it an executive decision that you had to do, and I think that did better in the end because it helped you narrow the focus down, and that's what you needed to do. Again, people were affected by that, and it's awesome that you took a moment to acknowledge that, because who's going to acknowledge that? For transparency, people, I didn't really post about it, but I did send an audition. Unfortunately, mine was on that cuffs, and it happens. And I'm grateful that you even took a moment to listen to it. You know what I mean? So it comes down to, this is your baby. This is what you want the best for your story. And I think that from what you've let us hear so far, I think you're on to something great. Obviously we've heard Cherry before, and I'm a fan of the voice actress, and there's a lot more to come, and I'm excited for it, and I'm excited for you. I'm not bittersweet, but I know that one day we will find a way to work together in that capacity, and I think I'll make you happy. But I really, really think that there's some great stuff. I'm looking forward to revisiting the game again. That your youngest fan happens to be my 8-year-old son.
It's so cool.
Who I've sent you videos of him finishing the game. So really, really cool.
And you said before about the voice actress of Cherry Arson. She's so cool. And we reached her when we did the prototype. She's a Californian girl. I think she's Californian. She's in California, by the way. And because we're indie, and because we don't care really about being professional, right now, from all of the voice actor that we have, and we got really professional. We even got Brimstone, that is a famous wrestler.
He's awesome. Yep, I know.
Jesus Christ, that guy is awesome. I didn't know who he was until at some point I don't know. At some point, I understand. I was like, did I really talk with you all of this time? Now I don't want to talk. I know I'm scared to talk with you. You're too famous. But Arson, voice actress of Cherry, she's a weird girl. I love her. She got this gritty voice. She's a badass girl, and she's perfect for Cherry. But compared to the other voice actors, she is the one that got less skill. And I'm saying this because you will notice that when Cherry will talk, sometimes Arson doesn't even respect that there is a point. She do the straight line. But because we are indie and I don't care about being perfect and I love imperfection and I love her style more than her technique, I fought for having Arson on board until the end. And I will continue having her just because the sound of her voice and the attitude. I love it.
It fits your character design 100%.
It reflects the punk attitude of the game. We don't care about doing things polished. We care about doing things with attitude. Everything is raw. We don't fucking care. It's cool.
Awesome. Well, I hope that she sticks around for the inevitable sequel. I will fight tooth and nail for that to happen. I don't care if it's 3 years from now, 4 years from now. It is going to happen. So if we have to put a Kickstarter together for you, we'll do it. But I think the future is bright, and really, outside of cookie cutter, let's be realistic. We're all creators. We always have a million thoughts in our head.
Yeah.
You know, is there projects that you'd like to start tackling? You don't necessarily have to talk about what they would be, but do you have something that like you're like, when I get a moment, I want to kind of jump on this and do this other little thing, whether it be a game, an art project? Is there stuff that is your eyes are set on, you know, when you have some free time?
Yep. Right now I'm doing a lot of things. Finally, the game is over and I don't need to stay 7 days out of 7 alone in a room. I'm a really social kind of person. So I really missed, and it really compromised me staying alone, working as crazy for so much time. So right now I'm doing a lot of different things. We're doing a reunion with my punk rock band, and we will have a gig after 17 years in my city, and I'm super hyped about it, my man. To stay on the stage again, to have that attention, to have that energy, and to scream like a fucking bastard. I love that, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm talking with a pusher, a guy selling illicit substance here in Brighton, because I want to do a comic book about the story of a pusher, because he told me so many stories about his client. There are some crazy things, and I would love to put it out there, this real story in comic books style, with my style. I would love to do that. So I'm considering doing that, but I don't know, it's just an idea. I'm having, for sure, cookie cutter is always there. I'm always talking with the writer and with the producer about what I want next and how we can have it. So I'm still doing a lot. I mean, I have a lot already ready for it. And I'm really hyped to do it because now I have more experience. We did the first. Now I have a pretty much more clearer vision how to continue, and I can be more effective, and I can do cooler things that before I didn't even know I could do. And other things, I'm just chilling. I'm playing a lot of video games. I finished Baldur's Gate 3, great game, and now I started Yakuza Like a Dragon, and I love it so much.
That's awesome. Very cool. You're always busy. I mean, I always see you definitely travel a lot. I'm very jealous of that because you know, I'm kind of conformed to my four walls for the most part, but I think you've really taken that moment to live life. I see it, and it's really awesome to see that you're doing that. And again, I appreciate seeing a healthier side of you, you know, after all the hard work you've put in, and it shows, and I think the fans will appreciate that, you know, you're living for yourself and not just for the game, because despite it being a passion project, sometimes we have to disconnect, step away, you know, get some sunlight. You know, vitamin D only does so much in supplement form, right?
Oh man, I will tell you, I'm a social creature. I like to party, I like to do crazy things, I like to go outside with the BMX, I like to do things. If you keep me and close me in a room, I will get dry and dry and dry like a plant without sun, you know. So
Yeah.
for me, that's super important. And the fact that doing a video game requires you to stay alone working for crazy amount of hours, it's collide with my being, you know, really collide. It's cost me a lot.
Right. Well, it's a quite the opposite lifestyle when you think about it, you know, for what
Yeah,
you are. So
yeah.
it's a comfort zone that you really have to be ready to commit to. So good job. You know, I mean, again, it's something I think a lot of people are scared of. You know,
Yeah,
it's not something that is easy to do. I
no,
have always had the fear. I will not lie, and I've always had the fear of. I think what's holding me back is
no.
having to do the day to day thing that we have to do as a responsible adult, and for me as a father and a husband. But I know that if I have to do it, I might have to change my perspective, you know, and it's a scary thing that a lot of people don't really consider. But
True.
you're a great story for people to inspire to be by, you know, and to lead by example of what can be done when you really put your heart and soul into something. So again, congratulations to everything you've done over the last year and a half physically that the world have seen, and obviously the years before that where you shared your development over the year on social media. You would just show people kind of that work in progress. And you know, I didn't discover that until after because I wasn't familiar with it, but you've had people following you since then, so it's really speaks volumes to the work you've done. So
Man,
I
wow, thank you.
no, it's the truth. You know, again, you and I have a great relationship, and this is obviously a little more formal than we usually speak, but I think it's important for people to see this side of you because, again, it goes. There's so much that goes into what you do, and I'll always be a fan, and I'm one of your biggest supporters, and I really look forward to the future. But the last thing I wanted to ask you was when you think about, you know, everything that's come with Cookie Cutter, is there anything different that you would have done, whether it be, you know, was there a different story you wanted to tell, was there a different character that could have been in Cherry's place?
Yes and no. Yes, because looking it with the eyes of before, of after, looking at before, you realize I could do this better. But no, because I skilled doing this game into reaching this position when I can critic myself. Before, I was just did my best. I did 255% every day. And I was so busy and I was so fast and I was so all over the place that that was the best of the best. And yeah, so that is the no part. The yes part is that now looking backward, it's easy to say this should be better, and the gameplay. For sure, there is a lot of things that I had to learn as a director because I always been an artist and never a director. And when you need to have a directing position, you need to have skills that I didn't have. So all of those things, I imagine right now it could have been better, definitely. But at the same time, fuck that, man. I did my best, and that's what's matter, you know. And the team itself, we are still in super good relationship with which each one of them. So one of the most important things for me was to not having them hating their work. This is something that I always tell talking with people. It's so easy to make people working with you hate the job. If you have a fucking stupid ego, if you are horrible, if you know, if you're a director, you need to create a good environment for them to express, not under your stupid ego, but you know, in a way that everybody is happy and everybody can bring something on the plate without feeling smashed by your vision, my vision. You know, I don't care about that. I don't care about the shit. Our team was like a band. Because we all come from music. I was a little punk rock brat, and the audio guy was playing in metal bands, and the other guy was you know. So we assembled the team like a rock band. Each one of us is cool. Each one of us respect the other. But if the bassist says that the guitar line is shitty and the guitarist says that the guitar line is cool, I trust the guitarist on that, because it is too. You can express yourself, but in the end, it win the guy who played that instrument, you know? It was like a band, and this was super important too, to doing things. So yeah, to answer your question, did I doing something different? Yes and no, both at the same time.
Well said. I mean, I think that really nails it. It also makes you who you are. It makes the work that you did what it is. Because if you would have did it different, obviously we could have had a different outcome.
Yes.
Just a different main character. You know, just think about that for a second. You know, if it was a male, if it was a dog, if it was, doesn't matter. It could have been anything. It could have been just a robot husk. You know, like you didn't have to.
Yeah.
But then somebody will find a reason.
Yeah.
They'll always be there. The trolls under the bridge, right?
Yeah. And plus, if we want to be a little bit more philosophical, are we really in control of what we're doing? We got visions, we got idea, but when you realize it comes out as you imagine, or it comes out as something that resembles your idea, but because I work with you and you give me your point of view, now it's become another thing. You know,
it gets inspired and it mutates as you go on.
Life is about decision. Are we really in control of everything? A lot of the times, yes, but a lot of the times, no. And I think that art should move in the same way. You can have an idea, but in the end, you can start chasing something that you have no idea because it's fun. I think that one thing that I really hope is that if I will continue doing video games, I will still have fun in the process of experimenting and coming out with things that entertain me in order to entertain you. Because if I need to spend a quarter of my life alone at this desk drawing for this thing, I want to have fun at least. I want to say something that I want to leave a piece of me inside of that, something like that. So I just hope for this in the future. Let's see. And I hope I will not get crazy again under a project so big to lose my mental sanity. This time I want to preserve my mental sanity. I will try to preserve my mental sanity, but no promises.
Well, you're also in control now. You're in a much better place, I think, where you can have that mental strength and that flexibility. Because if the demand is there, the demand's coming to you. So, let's take that as is. But dude, I will let you go. I appreciate your time as always. Thank you for talking to us and letting the world know a little bit more about what goes into that crazy mind of yours to put out such a kick-ass game. Everybody stay tuned for the Overkill Edition. Hopefully once we find a date, we will also share that. I will be online to pre-order physical edition. Let's get a statue. Let's do it. But until next time, everybody, take care. Have fun, everybody. Be safe.